Welcome, everyone. Today we'll be exploring the sport of women's fast pitch softball through the lens of sport performance and strength and conditioning. Below, we have an outline where we're going to be talking about introduction to softball, physical demands, KPIs, normative data, common injuries and limitations, relevant information for success, and we're going to have a program breakdown. Softball is a highly explosive, intermittent field sport defined by extremely short bursts of maximal effort, such as the pitch, a swing, or a sprint to first base, followed by structured periods of recovery. Unlike many other field sports, softball places unique biomechanical and physiological demands on its athletes, particularly pitchers who accumulate 80 to 140 or more pitches in a single game. Additionally, tournament play further amplifies these stressors, often requiring teams to perform multiple games per day with very limited recovery. Our goal today is to break down the sport's physical demands, key performance indicators, normative data, common injuries, and periodized training strategies to create high performance, durable, and resilient softball athletes. For the physical demands of the game, well, softball is often misunderstood as a more technical or less physically demanding sport compared to baseball or other field games. However, research clearly shows that the softball athlete experiences intense neuromuscular demand across pitching, hitting, fielding, and base running tasks. Each pitch, swing, or defensive effort lasts just 2 to 6 seconds, but it requires maximal acceleration, rapid deceleration, rotational force production, and full body coordination. Between these actions, athletes recover for 15 to 25 seconds, creating a predictable but still taxing work to rest pattern of roughly 1 to 3 to 1 to 5. Pitchers experience hip and shoulder muscular fatigue, making them a unique example of the sport's intensity. The windmill pitching mechanic produces substantial fatigue, like mentioned, in the hip and scapular musculature, which directly impacts velocity over the course of a game. Corbin and colleagues demonstrated that this fatigue pattern is both consistent and measurable, confirming just how physically demanding the position is. Overall, softball is a high output power sport built on repeated explosive movements, making strength, stability, and fatigue management crucial components of an effective performance program. As for KPIs, to understand how to train softball athletes effectively, we must identify the performance qualities that truly matter. A large body of evidence points toward lower body strength and power as central predictors of success across hitting, sprinting, and throwing. For instance, Lockie and colleagues found strong relationships between maximal lower body strength and sprint speed, jump performance, and even sport-specific outcomes like hitting velocity in high, high school softball athletes. Similarly, Nymphius et al. Demonstrated that stronger athletes not only change direction more efficiently, but also maintain this ability across the competitive season. In addition to strength, acceleration, including the prize 0 to 10-meter split, is one of the strongest indicators of on-field success. Softball's 60-foot base path makes first-step quickness and maximal acceleration absolutely essential for offensive and defensive performance. Finally, pitchers are going to have specific KPIs where we're going to see hip strength and stability, shoulder and scapular control, range of motion, and ability to maintain ball velocity under fatigue. These KPIs give us a guide over our training priorities and serve as key checkpoints for athlete development. Some normative data that we can take a look at is going to be for acceleration. Elite softball athletes consistently display rapid 10 to 20-meter sprint times, which translate directly into faster times to first base, improved base stealing, and superior defensive range. Vertical and broad jump metrics also serve as a critical indicator of lower body explosive power. Research shows a clear correlation between jump performance and both bat speed and hitting velocity, reinforcing how important the legs and hips are in rotational sports. Pitchers also tend to average 55 to 70 plus miles per hour, depending on age and competitive level. Maintaining velocity across innings is often a reflection of both technique and conditioning, especially given the shoulder, elbow, and hip demands of the windmill pattern. For common injuries and limitations, softball athletes face predictable patterns of injury based on position and movement demands. Across all positional groups, lower extremity injuries, including ankle sprains, knee valgus collapse, and hip strains, are the most prevalent. These typically stem from rapid cutting, sliding, diving, and deceleration tasks. Pitchers, on the other hand, face a significantly higher risk of upper extremity injuries. The windmill motion, while different from overhead throwing, places considerable torque and repetitive stress on the shoulder and elbow. Valentine and colleagues noted that inadequate hip trunk shoulder sequencing during pitching increases mechanical load on the arm and can lead to chronic overuse injuries. Professional data from Patel and colleagues reveal injury rates high enough that 15% require surgical intervention, underscoring the genuine physical rigor of the sport. Ultimately, weaknesses in trunk stability, hip control, or scapular mechanics tend to translate directly into injury risk, reinforcing the need for targeted strength and condition strategies. As for relevant information for success, we are going to have athletes that must be able to produce force rapidly and apply it efficiently through the kinetic chain. Lower body strength underpins nearly every action in softball, from explosive starts and aggressive base running to powerful rotational hitting. Rotational power is another cornerstone of success. High-level hitters and pitchers both rely on proper sequencing, meaning force generated from the ground travels to the hips, transfers into the trunk, and finally expresses itself through the upper body. When this sequence breaks down, often due to poor trunk or hip control, the arm takes on too much load, increasing injury risk and decreasing performance. Change of direction is also strongly tied to defensive range and fielding proficiency. The quicker an athlete can break, redirect force, and re-accelerate, the more effective she is on the field. Overall, success in softball is a blend of strength, power, sequencing, speed, and fatigue tolerance, all modifiable through quality training. Now, for the sample breakdown program, we're going to have a general preparation phase that we're going to see through the off season, the hypertrophy strength phase, mid-off season, anaerobic endurance phase, and we're going to finally end with a power phase that we can develop through through the preseason. In summary, softball is a complex, explosive sport that rewards athletes who possess lower body strength, rotational power, acceleration, and efficient kinetic chain sequencing. With a well-designed macro cycle, targeted strength and power development, individualized arm care, and conditioning strategies that reflect game demands, we can significantly improve both performance and durability. Building softball athletes means building powerful, resilient movers who can handle repeated high-intensity loads while executing the technical precision required by the sport. Thank you very much.